Hi, my name is Jamie Lomax. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the creators of the Doodles, a modular mix and match system where you can design and knit whatever you like. Today, we are going to jump into some October inspiration. Fall, Halloween, all of that is my favorite time of year, and I'm super excited to show you some of our favorite samples that we have here at Pacific Knit Co. to hopefully inspire you to make something fun for the festive fall season. So let's dive right in. So the first one I want to show you today is actually one that I love a lot. I'm working on this one right now, and it's one of them I would describe as a doodle that doesn't look like a doodle. And so this is actually not a full pattern. It is a hack of a doodle chart that you might recognize. If you've seen the haunted doodle that looks like this one here, you'll see this little spider dropping from a web. And so what I've done with this project that I'm working on now is taken that same spider and used it as part of this sort of modern grid. So I made a 12 stitch grid across this project, and then one of those lines I've inserted that same spider chart. And so it's a really fun way to sort of use a doodle in a way that doesn't look like a doodle. I think I kind of call these ones my whoa, that's a doodle kind of samples. So that's what I'm actually working on now. The haunted doodle here, this is one of my favorite Halloween doodles. It's black and white and orange, some of the best Halloween colors. This is my favorite time of year. So this kit is from Urinaceous Fibers, and the Halloween or haunted doodle has pumpkins, ghosts, graveyards, haunted houses, skeletons, and those kind of things. So this is a really fun sample that's very spooky and on season for October. Here's another example of a project that we did with these same charts. And so this one is the Infinity Cowl, and this one is the Standard Cowl. And so on this one, you'll see that it's the same sort of layout, just kind of in a different shape. This one here is a bit of a landscape orientation from the bones below the grave, the pumpkins in front of the house, and then ghosts above. Another really good sample for the autumn season is the Spellbound doodle. This one is very witchy apothecary vibes. We've got bubbling cauldrons, spell books, crystal balls, and witches' hats. I really like this one. It's basically my most witchy vibe sample here. And one of my favorite parts about this sample on this Infinity Cowl with this kit is Fangirl Fibers did this purple and pink kit. These bookshelves here are really fun. Each one of these shelves is actually its own motif, and so you can pick and choose which order you put them in and how many that you choose. So for example, this is another version of the Spellbound doodle that we did on a standard cowl, and you can see that we decided to use these dark pink color behind all the shelves so that the shelves look more like they are part of one specific design. And then in order to transition to the border above and below, we used this little sparkly basic chart in the black to transition into the ribbing, and did the same thing again at the top. So that's the Spellbound doodle. If you want to get a bit more monstery, this one is our monster doodle with a kit by Fangirl Fibers. It's got greens and purples and teals. It's really fun and very seasonally appropriate. I love this one because it's got a lot of our traditional monsters like mummies, zombies, black cats, Dracula, and you can see Frankenstein here as well, and witches. And so this one is really traditional Halloween style monsters and super fun. I love all these cute little monster faces. And there's some other charts thrown in here like tiny pumpkins and bones as well. We originally were planning a Monster 2 version, but that actually evolved into this sample, which is our Cryptid doodle with Lavender Loon Yarn Co. as the kit sample here. And this one, we were a little stuck on what to do for Monster 2 until we sort of niched it down into the cryptid style monsters that you might find hidden in the woods. We're from Seattle here, so this Bigfoot, you might probably not find him here in Seattle. He's very hard to find. But it's also got Yetis and Nessie. I like a bit that Nessie here is low contrast, making her hard to see as well. If you have not heard of the Fresno Nightcrawler, that's this guy here. I did not hear of him until I designed this cowl, but now he's a pretty cute little guy that we added here. We've got the Kraken as well, Jackalopes and Full Moons, Mothman here too. And so these are more cryptid, mythical campfire story monsters on this sample here. This is the Cryptid Doodle. And one of my favorite charts that we had on this sample is this one called the Monster Scale. And we actually took that one. My associate Erin used the Monster Scale to create this project here. And we haven't grafted this one yet, but it is just that one chart repeated across the entire project. Now we call these single chart examples one chart wonders for Doodles. You can see this is what it looks like as the full chart, one repeat of it. And then this is what it looks like when you put the chart on a full project without any breaks in between. And it sort of looks like dragon scales. She was actually going for mermaid scales with this color shifting yarn. It didn't turn out quite as mermaidy as we hoped. So now it's a little bit more of a dragon look. But this is a really fun project and actually a very simple chart if you're just starting out. Doing one chart wonder doodles is a great way to practice your color work without having to make a lot of decisions. Now, if you want a little bit more fall vibes and less, monsters and such, I recommend the Autumn Doodle. This is actually my second doodle we ever had after the holiday one doodle. The autumn one is the next one that came out. So this is one of my oldest samples. It's with green letter day. You can see the hat version here, and this is the infinity cowl. And it is a bit of a mix of spooky sort of Halloween motifs as well as fall motifs. So if you like sort of fall leaves and those kind of things, this is a good pattern for you. I do like that we have this band of dots. These are our filler dots that come with our core doodle patterns. And they're a really good place if you just want sort of a band of color work like this one, where there's a band of color work on the one side and then a little bit more plain on the other side. That can be a really nice touch as well, both aesthetically and from a skill standpoint, it's a little more beginner friendly. And we use those same charts here on this hat. I love hat doodles because you get to really feature sort of a focal chart. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll pick the chart I want to sort of showcase on that hat. And then above and below that, I typically will put some basic doodles like this little triangle and the dots. That's one of my favorite transitional motifs. It's a basic doodle. And that's a really fun way to sort of border your featured motif and make it stand out on your hat. We also have this as a standard cowl. This is one of my other favorite samples. It's a great beginner pattern as well because it is really easy to knit up. And again, you'll see those basic charts and then these featured charts in between. And it's got a nice balance as well between those. So you can see that here we've bordered the bat with that basic chart. And then we've also bordered the pumpkin at the bottom with that same basic chart and then bled that border into our ribbing, which makes it feel a little bit more intentional and not as hard of a cutoff. And so you'll see that we did the same thing on the hat, is blending that into the ribbing color. Another great sample for fall is the Rhinebeck doodle. And so this one's really fun. We designed this one the first year that I went to Rhinebeck. And if you are looking for the most yarny or woolly doodle or the yarn store doodle, this is the one for you. It's got motifs that are like hats and scarves and sweaters, so all your knitted goods, as well as fall leaves, pumpkins, and woolly animals too. So we've got this alpaca there and a sheep here along the bottom. We have socks, balls of yarn, which are really fun. So the Rhinebeck doodle is our most sort of yarny motif set. And so this one's really, really fun, especially if you've gone to Rhinebeck or you're planning on going this year. This is a fun project to take with you and knit it while you're there to help you remember your Rhinebeck experience. And if you've been there, you'll know that the apples are a big deal with the apple cider donuts. Here is another example of the Rhinebeck doodle. This is a standard cowl. And so you'll see what we've done here is this sort of striped layout. And then we've changed the color of the ribbing on the top and the bottom. You don't have to keep it the same on your project. What I like about this sample is we kept it really sort of dark at the bottom, like heavier at the bottom, and then lightened it up as we went to the top for a little lighter near the top. So visually that balances out really well. These two yarn kits, this one is Yarnaceous Fibers and this pink one over here is Fangirl Fibers. And these are two of the sets that this pattern released with. Jumping back to the autumn one, if you remember our big leaf that we looked at, let's bring that back, this leaf. One of the things that my associate Erin loves to do is play with things. She was playing with the monster scales. This is her version of the One Chart Wonder with this fall leaf. So the motif looks like this leaf here. And what's unique about this one is that while we have a 24 stitch width on all of our doodles, this one actually has a 24 row height as well, which means that because it's perfectly square, you can rotate this leaf 90 degrees every time you repeat it, which is what she did on this project. And so every repeat, this kind of rotates, and it gives it a falling leaf aesthetic as it goes across the project. And then just to mix things up, we added this little leaf border here. So this is a fun little way to have some texture thrown in. And then once this gets grafted together, you see it has sort of that band of texture along with the color work on the rest of the cowl. This is a really fun project and very beginner friendly too, because you get to kind of memorize this chart. The more you repeat these One Chart Wonders, the easier it is to memorize it and get really used to the floats and how you're knitting that. And so that is a really great beginner project. Another One Chart Wonder that I just finished up this summer is this one here. This is actually a plaid chart. It's about this much of a repeat from our Autumn 3 set. And what I did is I repeated the plaid, again, one chart, the whole project, and I have no breaks in between on the plaid. And so it creates sort of an overall plaid aesthetic. And then we brought the navy blue from the background into the ribbing on both ends. And one of the things I love about this is a Lamb and Kid yarn. And we chose their Big Birdie, which is fuzzy. So you can kind of see that one of the two colors used in the plaid is fuzzy. And we've been having fun playing with texture on some of these projects. I've got another one where I'm going to play with some boucle on a Yeti. And it's just really fun to see what texture does to a doodle or to color work in general when you have that sort of playing with the color work. I get a lot of people asking about sock doodles. And so I did bring a bunch of socks to show you guys today. And I will say I was not a sock knitter until a couple years ago, but after doing doodle socks for about a year and a half now, they're so much fun. And I definitely struggled with where and how to put color work on a sock when I first started designing doodle socks. And so one of the things I can show you today is different examples that work well with placing your doodle charts on a sock shape. This one is the Rhinebeck doodle again, and it has Yarnaceous Fibers is the dyer for the same color kit as the Cowl has. And these are 3 examples of how those Rhinebeck charts could go on a sock. So what you'll see on this first one is you've got that very traditional doodle striped aesthetic, just stacking your doodles. That's a really easy way to do it. Doesn't really matter what order you go in or how you place them, but stacking them can be really approachable for beginners. And then we used a simple basic chart repeated across the foot. Oftentimes you'll see less color work on the foot or no color work at all, just because of fit or preference. It can be less stretchy when you have, for example, 3-color color work like you see on this cardigan there, can be more difficult. So it's a simpler foot for that example. This sheep one here is 2 charts repeated across. So it's a 2-chart wonder for these ones. We chose the mama sheep and the baby sheep. And what I liked about this kit is that it had a pink instead of a white. And so we have our little pink sheeps on our navy blue background and repeated that throughout as well. This is one of my favorite socks. We call it our sock because it is covered in socks. And it's very meta. We're working on a sweater and a hat, but we'll see when we have time to get to that. The sock is a One Chart Wonder, single chart. And one of the things you'll notice in these socks, and it'll occur on several of them, is that when we use a single chart, that we don't stack them vertically all in a line. It would look a little too rigid. And so I often recommend offsetting each repeat of a single chart like this. If it's going to be separated charts like these socks, I would not recommend offsetting charts on something like this plaid because you do want these specifically to line up. So that would not occur on this one chart wonder. But for the sock and for several of the socks, you'll see how it offsets to make those socks. And then what we did is we just shifted the color from a light blue through a gold and a darker blue on the same colored background. So that's the Rhinebeck Doodle. This one is our autumn doodle. So that this cowl here that we just looked at, these are socks made with those same charts. And it's, again, it's a couple different examples of what you could do. This one is your more traditional stacked aesthetic on the top, but this one uses a very plain foot. This is just stockinette with no extra details because we wanted to have some examples that really were just a regular foot that fit really well and didn't have any floats to worry about. And so we really focused the design here on the leg of the sock. And again, you'll see that same sort of triangle dot border. Is my favorite basic chart. I use it a lot. But it's a really great transition from this cuff color into the background color for the main part of the sock. You'll see this one, we did all the ghosts on the top of the sock and again, a plain foot. And that same sort of chart you'll see kind of at the bottom of the ghosts. It's a transitional chart that will really help you kind of end your color work and then go into something else. And this version is the same stacked charts that we saw on this version, but where this one has a different background color, so it looks very striped. If you keep the background color consistent through your motifs, then it looks a little bit more cohesive and like one single design setup. And so that's kind of what this one does. And again, you'll notice our transitional pieces there and then at the toe as well. So this one is Autumn 1 Doodle, and this is a Yarnaceous Fibers kit. For the Spellbound socks, these are another some good examples as well. You'll see again that we have the bookshelves on the sock leg and then a plain, mostly plain sock foot on this one. We did use that same sort of sparkle that was on the edge of our cowl here at the toe of the sock just to give it a little interest, but mostly the foot is plain and you have that same sparkle repeated right at the top. And so for this one, we used a different cuff color. You could use black on the cuff and have that as more of a transitional piece. It's really up to you. The answer with doodles is usually you can do whatever you want with them. Here is another one where we've stacked some witch motifs along the leg, and then we went simple with repeating 2 different motifs across the foot. And this is one of my favorite ones. This is our skull sock. And I love that there are hot pink skulls for this one. So this again is a one chart wonder. And you'll notice like the sock that we did offset the skulls with every repeat as we came down here for the skeleton sock. Here are 2 examples of my autumn number 2 set. This one is featuring this black cat, and you'll notice that we used some different basic charts above and below that black cat to sort of make it stand out. And then the pumpkin here, a little subtle, but also bordered with this different version of these basic charts. You can kind of combine different basic charts to make different borders. So this is a bit of a combination of 2 charts, as this is as well. And so you can do that. And then we also have that same sort of border here along the toe. Now this sock is one of my favorite samples. My sibling Gray and I, we call this one the Mostly Ghosties sock because it is mostly ghosties. This ghost chart set is an Autumn 2 doodle, and what I really love about these ghosts, one, I love ghosts, just really in general. If you saw my shirt earlier, I'm wearing a ghost shirt today because it's October and ghosts are the best. This Mostly Ghosties sock uses a pink instead of a white for the ghosts, which I really like. It's a very pale pink, and then we used a darker pink for the toe, heel, and cuff as well. And so this is just a really fun sock. It looks complex, but because it's a one chart wonder, again, with that offset with each repeat, there are quite a few, they're mostly small floats on this one. So this is actually a very beginner friendly sock if this is something that you want to try to make yourself. And my last set of socks that I have here, we just got this set back. This is the same Yarnaceous kit that's orange, black, and white. And it's the Haunted Doodle. And this is a really good example of 3 ways that you can put charts on a sock. So this one on the right, this is, again, our very traditional stacked layout. I love the stacked layout because it really does make it easy to put things together. You do not have to necessarily build a story or build a scene or have even really much intention behind how you put these together. We could have put the bats down here and the ghost up there. It wouldn't have made a huge difference because they're a bit separate in each of the motifs. So that makes it a really good way to start. These ones just give super Halloween vibes, and I love that. And then we use the same color for the cuff, heel, and toe on this one. You'll actually notice that we use the same chart on the leg as we did on the foot. So we only designed one chart and we just did the same assembled chart below. This example here is one where we did a story or feature on the leg. And you can see that we chose to use the ghost background to blend it up into the cuff on this sock and then drop these spiders down in that same color, ending with some gravestones. And then again, like some of the other ones, we did a pretty plain foot on this, which makes it faster to knit and a little bit more comfortable if you don't want colorwork strands on your foot. And then this is another one chart wonder. So what you'll see again is that this is a single chart, just our pumpkin chart from our haunted doodle. And again, it's offset. And we did fade the colors through here. So this kit has 3 oranges. We have the darkest one lower, the medium one, and then the lightest one. And we faded through those while keeping the background all white. So that's a really good way to do it. Oh, and you'll see there's my favorite chart again, my transitional chart on the bottom. That shows up a lot because it is my favorite transitional chart. You'll see it at the top as well. If socks or cowls or things are a little bit too intimidating, you can also do cup cozies. We've got a ton of cup cozy examples here. And honestly, there's a free cozy pattern that you can get on my website, pacificknitco.com. And every single doodle will fit on a cozy. Basically, you have one repeat on the front and one repeat on the back. And it's a great way to swatch if you want to practice your colors or see if they work well together. If you want to make teacher gifts for the holiday seasons, you could do this as well. If you have some scraps laying around, you don't need more than half a mini skein for any of these. So they are really easy to knit up, and you can kind of put any chart on them that you want. I really like this spider chart. I'm doing a hat right now that is designed to use this chart and then do it in a high contrast black and white. We've got ghosties. This is a sheet ghost. That one is really fun and pretty cute. These are boo buckets. These ones are all from our 2024 autumn knitting expansion, and so they're really fun to play with, and they make really cute gifts. This is similar to our one chart wonder that was plaid over here, this one, but it's a buffalo check version of that. So you can do the plaid or the buffalo check on a cozy, practice it. And also I think this buffalo check chart, which is in our holiday set, would look really good as a one chart wonder like this sample over here as well. So that would be a really fun and easy way to use that pattern in a repeat. Now, one of my favorite things that you can do with doodles is that you don't actually have to keep them in just one set. Like you don't have to do just haunted doodles or just Rhinebeck doodles. And what we do, we call this is doodle mashups. When you put more than one doodle together into a project, it is called a doodle mashup. And I'm going to show you a couple of those that we've done that are very seasonally appropriate for October. This first one here, it's not grafted together yet, but this one is called inspired by the Haunted Mansion. And so this kit is actually the Haunted Mansion kit by Fangirl Fibers. And my associate Erin worked on this project with me, and we basically pulled charts from 3 different sets to make this. We have charts from Spellbound, Haunted, and Autumn in here to basically pull the specific motifs that go along with that broader theme. So if you think about the Haunted Mansion and what comes to mind with that, we have a bunch of different ghost charts. So we have this ghost here, we have those ghosts here. This is actually the same ghost as our mostly ghosty sock. We've pulled tombstones and ravens, skulls. This is Madame Leota's crystal ball here as well, the front gates at the Haunted Mansion. And then these colors just really give it a super spooky vibe. We've got the floating candlestick and the haunted portraits. And so with the doodle mashups, what's really fun is you get to choose themes and charts from multiple places and kind of bring them together to create something that didn't exist before. before you put it together in this way. And one of the things we like to do with our mashups as well is we always throw in sort of a free custom chart when I do these. And this one doesn't exist in any set, but this is the wallpaper from the Haunted Mansion, sort of done up in a chart. Just to add it to this, that's not a set chart that you can get in any set, but we made it for this occasion. So that is the Haunted Mansion mashup. We also have a mashup that we just got back. This one here, if you're a fan of Twilight, this is our Twilight mashup. It's really fun. This actually has probably 12 different sets represented in it. So it's probably one of my most diverse mashup examples. So you'll see, obviously, we have werewolves and vampires from our monster set. This paw print here is from Dog Doodles. We've got full moons from Cryptid. If you recall, Bella bringing a little cactus when she comes to Washington from Arizona. This is from our desert set. Our custom chart here for this one is our Bella's truck. And then we've got plaid and our trees for the Pacific Northwest. This plaid here is actually the same plaid as this project here. So you can see how much it looks different when you do it in different colors and different styles. So that is the same plaid chart. This one here is one of my favorite ones. It is fangs we got a little bit of red on the ends of these fangs for the vampires, hearts from our Valentine's set, baseball from sports, and then this is Mount Rainier from the Seattle set. And so this is a really fun mashup that takes charts from probably 10 or 12 different sets to put together into this. And that's been really fun to design these ones and get creative with what motifs exist that when you put them together in certain colors, they start to look a certain way. And so this Twilight collection yarn kit is by Yarnaceous and Fangirl Fibers as a collaboration kit. And then the last mashup that I have today is this one. This one is our Monsters, Inc. mashup. I love Monsters, Inc. and I think it's so cute. You'll notice that this is our monster scale that we had from earlier. You'll see a bunch of different monsters we pulled together in here. This has a lot of different sets as well. This is our sock from our socks in Rhinebeck. When the guy gets the sock on his back and they call code 2319 and the CDC comes to deal with him, that's what that is. The custom charts on this set are our Scream canister and our doorway here. So those ones were done custom for this mashup. And we do have blank charts where you can do your own custom charts as well. You can find those on our website. And then one of my favorite pieces here is this chart. It is actually from Farm. This is our cow print chart. And I really love that if you can just change the color of a chart, you can change the whole vibe of that chart or the meaning of it. And so while this is a cow print chart from our Farm set, you can see that if we use colors for Sully, then that is what it starts to look like. We also paired the eyeballs from our monster set with the fangs from our Cryptid set to make a little Mike Wazowski looking monster here as well. So this one was inspired by Monsters, Inc. And we've got our one inspired by Twilight and then our one inspired by the Haunted Mansion. So these are 3 holiday specific, like autumn specific mashups that have been really, really fun to play with lately. Hopefully you got some really great inspiration out of today's session. We have tons of samples here at our studio and they really never make it out except for classes and shows. And so I'm super excited that we're going to be able to start sharing them every month with you. Seasonal examples of things that you can do, hopefully something that inspired you to make a doodle that you didn't even know you wanted up until you saw this episode. So stay tuned every month as we bring you more inspiration for your doodle projects and you can cast on something new and exciting. For more, head over to pacificknitco.com and you can see all of our base patterns, all of our chart sets, and everything else there. And if you found something inspiring in this show, you can comment below and let me know. I would love to know what you're creating. Thank you.